So, the next-gen gaming reveal that blew me away, I'm going to have to go all the way back to 2006, 2007-ish, and talk about a couple of things. I remember being hugely excited for the Xbox 360 when that got announced. And the title that I really followed for the first time from, like, development through to release was Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Now, that might seem like the dumbest next-gen game to get excited about, but at the time, like, I thought that the Blur Studios trailers were the graphics for the game, so I was completely blown away. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna look like that, that's amazing! And of course it didn't, and the graphics still ended up blowing me away anyway. But if I'm going to talk about one that really kind of enraptured me as a 10/11-year-old, that's going to make some people feel very old or very young. The Force Unleashed. LucasArts had some really cool next-gen demos that they were showing off around 2006, 2007. One was for The Force Unleashed, and the other was for an Indiana Jones game that, correct me if I'm wrong, never got made. And I remember they had this demo, and it was Indy fighting people on a San Francisco tram. And it looked so cool. I mean, you can go and find the footage now, and it probably doesn't look that impressive. But at the time, whoa, I tell you, that was great fun. Actually, no, it got made into that Staff of Kings game for the Wii. Went from being like this thing that was going to be on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and then it never got made, and it got turned into a Wii game or whatever. That and the Force Unleashed Euphoria Havoc thing. At the time, I was like, what, Euphoria? Havoc? You're going to tell me that if I pick up this stormtrooper, he's going to grab onto some railings and cling on for dear life? That's amazing. And that whole kind of system really, it's you look back at it now and it's obviously very kind of, oh, it's so organic, these things think for themselves, and it's kind of like, do they though? But at the same time, it was really impressive. And that's what really got me hyped for the Xbox 360, which I still maintain is the best console that I've ever owned, and it was great. Bring me back the days of Xbox Live, man. That was such a good time getting off topic now. Anyway, but yeah, The Force Unleashed and the Indiana Jones game that LucasArts was showing off around 2006, 2007. Plus a shout out to Marvel Ultimate Alliance. The graphics for those games kind of blew my little mind at the time, so it'll have to be them.
Hey everyone, now this is the thing, when it comes to a game that I was so hyped on release, just from the trailer alone, it has to be Final Fantasy X. Now I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. In fact, Final Fantasy VIII was the first video game that I ever bought with my own money. But when I got a PS2 and found out that there was a Final Fantasy coming for that, and I saw the trailer, it was pure chef kiss. The reason why is because they treated it like a mammoth event, like it was bigger than a video game. In fact, they had the voiceover from like a movie announcer, and it was basically just like, in a world that only sin has taken over. It's like, I was blown away because not only did it look utterly amazing, but the in-game graphics that they showed were just so character driven and enriching. I was just like, oh, this is just so nice. And especially when they were just there like showing Yuna, and it was just like, oh, a young summoner learning the art of summoning. I was like, yes, this looks good. And then Ifrit just jumped up and I was like, oh my god, yes, this is real good. And then eventually you got to see Shiva just go boom, like that. I was just like, where can I pre-order this? So yeah, in short, absolutely blew me away. I was utterly hyped. It's just a shame that it potentially didn't live up to all of my expectations, but that's another day. That's another story for another day. Take care of yourself. See you soon. Love ya.
There are so many next-gen moments where I just, that time when you're a kid and you're just watching trailers come out and it's like, oh my god, graphics can't get better than this. We've said that so many times over the years, and so many different reflections on gameplay mechanics and things that we thought, oh my god, this is the peak of gaming. And I know that Josh is going to do Metal Gear Solid 2, which I totally echo all the MGS2 hype. I recorded that trailer using a video cassette back in the day from some footage thing that was on TV so that I could watch it over and over again. Back when you had to make your own trailers on demand. That's how old I am. But the biggest thing I'm going to go with is the first time I saw Tekken Tag, because Tekken 3 is still one of my top 3 favorite games of all time. Just an immaculate game. Stupidly good, to be honest. Immaculate. And the follow-up to that was just, Tekken Tag Tournament, which when you first saw the graphics for that, just blew me away. I was going to say I still think they hold up. They don't. They're not that bad though. They're not terrible. It's just that when you're a kid and you're coming from the polygonal likes of the PS1 and you see the PS2 smoothed over character models, just seeing Jin with his blue flame for a change was amazing. And then Hwoarang with his like sort of turquoise costume and everything. Even those tiny little changes that they were making I thought were incredible. Apart from Unknown, the new character they brought in that was meant to be, look at our crazy tendril special effects that we've done. Unknown didn't look very good. But overall, Tekken Tag Tournament, especially the soundtrack, oh my god. I did look up the name of the dude. I think it's Nobuyushi Sado, that did the soundtrack for Tekken Tag, who also did the music for Tekken 3. That's just been the soundtrack to 2020 for me. Just that incredible electronic techno feel. Just go back to the Tekken Tag soundtrack if you were there at the time and let that nostalgia wash over you. Those opening piano notes at the start of that score, life doesn't get much better than that, to be honest.
Okay, so the next gen reveal that blew my mind is actually one that I didn't expect to have any effect on me at all, really. Let's take you back to 2014, E3 2014, and Sony has just dropped the reveal trailer for Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, the final installment in the Nathan Drake saga, and I was incredibly hyped. It's pretty much just a close-up of Nathan Drake's face, and then he kind of stands up, there's some narration from Sully, he cocks his gun, and he walks out into this jungle area, and that's it. That's all you need to know. This is going to be the final Uncharted game. Get hyped, son. And this trailer genuinely blew me away, especially the opening shot, which just has this close-up of Nathan Drake's face in a kind of fidelity that I just had never seen before. It looked so realistic. You could see his paws, you could see all of kind of the little blemishes on his face. It was so photorealistic for the time, and it was unlike anything I had seen up until that point, and I just couldn't believe how realistic it looked. So I would go back to the trailer and rewatch that scene, because every time it went, boom, there's Nathan Drake's face. Like, ooh, shivers at the time. But what makes this particularly weird, not only is it because it's just a shot of someone's face that got me so hyped, but I actually had no kind of investment in this saga at all. I was an Xbox kid for all of the 360 generation, and I didn't have a PlayStation 3, so I didn't play Uncharted, and I had no kind of want to get into Uncharted, because why would I get into a series that I couldn't play or kind of experience? And I also hadn't played The Last of Us at that time. In fact, The Last of Us Remastered was a month away from release at the time this trailer dropped. So I was kind of interested in playing that, but I had no investment in this franchise. And yet I got so pumped for this finale, even though I had no idea who Sully was and who was narrating this or why it was important that Nathan Drake was coming out of retirement. I just knew this was the best damn looking face I had ever seen, and I needed to play the other games absolutely ASAP. I needed to go and play The Last of Us. I needed to get in the hype of what the PlayStation 4 had to offer, because I had jumped ship for the next generation, and this was the game that I kind of promised the quality to come, all from a single shot of this made-up dude's noggin.
So the next gen gaming reveal that just really blew me away has to be Resident Evil Village, because as I was watching it be revealed, I had no idea what I was looking at. I was just kind of watching it. I think I was eating like chips and dip, and we were just all kind of pigging out on food, and I just wasn't even paying attention because I'd already seen some games that I was excited for, and then this one came on. I had no idea what it was, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I was trying to figure out what it was, not 100% kind of paying attention. I was like, oh, it looks like vampires. And we kept kind of throwing names out there as to what we think it could have been. Maybe it was sort of like a supernatural kind of vampire or Van Helsing kind of game. And then to see Chris Redfield come in out of nowhere and just see like Village pop up, I was like, hang on a second, back up. What did I just watch? That was a Resident Evil game, and it just blew my mind. And it was like, from that point onwards, I was like, I have to go back. And I must have watched that trailer so many times and picked up on all the things that I just wasn't even paying attention enough to see and notice the first time around. And it just blew my mind because I just didn't even realize that it was a Resident Evil game. And so for it to come out of nowhere and just be like, oh yeah, by the way, this is the game that we are releasing now. It is Village. Surprise. And it was just crazy. And I've just come to terms with the fact that this game just looks so good and is just so different from the rest of the games in the series, and I'm super excited for it. It just looks incredible, and it is just so different, and I'm excited to just see how different it's going to play and how different the mechanics are. And yeah, I'm super excited. I'm sure there's so many other things I'm still missing in the trailer that I haven't picked up on, and I can't wait to play it. It's going to be freaking amazing.